Hi, my name is Victoria and I suffer from anxiety and depression. I wanted to talk about my mental health journey just because I feel like right now a lot of people with similar mental health issues are freaking out right now just as much as I am. So I just wanted to talk about when I started to feel anxiety and depression and how I deal with it. And this is just my story. It's not me telling you how to deal with it or anything like that. So I'm going to start with just doing a little history of my anxiety and where it kind of started. Could have been younger, but I think my first memory would be around 10 years old. And it was when my brother had the stomach flu. So he had the stomach flu and he was throwing up. And when I saw that, that made me really anxious and it made me scared that if I'm around him, I'm gonna throw up as well. From that point on, I didn't eat as much because I was scared that if I ate too much, I would feel sick and then throw up. And that caused me to lose a lot of weight. But I didn't look healthy, but that idea was stuck in my head that if I ate too much, if I was around people who were sick, I was gonna throw up. For most of my childhood, I was very anxious. I would always call it a funny feeling because at that time I didn't really know what it meant or what it was. I was just really confused. I wasn't really sure why I was feeling that way, and I would never want to sleep in my own room. I always feel really anxious before I went to sleep. So I'd have my mom sleep with me all the time. I couldn't do sleepovers. I was always so anxious I felt nauseous, and it was all for no reason. It was just all in my head and I didn't really know what was wrong with me. It felt like there was something wrong with me. Once I reached maybe grade 5, I would say it got better. I went to go see a doctor actually. My parents took me. They didn't tell me, we just went to the doctors. We were trying to figure it out, but by 5th grade I would say I was at a healthy weight and food wasn't really that much of an issue. I didn't really have that thought in my head. And I would say I was good until high school, like grade 10. That's when my anxiety came back, but also depression. My grandfather died, so that was a huge loss, and obviously I was depressed at first when he passed away, but it stayed for a really long time, so I knew it wasn't just, grieving. I knew it was something more. So I went to go see my family doctor. They have a counselor there. Put on medication for antidepressants. It did help me a lot. The first step of getting better, and I would see a therapist every couple of weeks at that time, or maybe every week. I don't really remember. It helped a lot. Going to therapy and having, my medication, and I felt a lot better and I was able to put myself into those social situations. And then the end of high school, I had gone through a breakup. It was really difficult. Lots of big changes in my life and it was definitely overwhelming, but that was probably the most depressed I would say I was. I had to up my antidepressants, see my therapist more. I managed to make new friends and that definitely helped a lot. And getting accepted into university was really exciting, and as sad as I still was, there were still good things in my life. Beginning of university, I was still depressed, but I was excited because it was a fresh start and it was new and it was just something to look forward to, and I can kind of just, be a different person. But as the year went on, into second year, I was still depressed. I wasn't fully okay, but it wasn't as bad as it was at the end of high school. Then summer going to third year, I made a lot of new friends and it was really exciting and it was really fun to be accepted, by other people. There was still part of me that was really depressed, a bit more than my first 2 years of university. By the end of third year and the beginning of fourth year, I was definitely depressed. Things were good in my life, but I still felt this heaviness in my chest. Just, I upped my dosage again and I would go see my therapist more often, but it's something I had to kind of just keep track of because it wasn't doing that great. And then my last semester, I was really anxious. I couldn't leave the house without feeling anxious or having a panic attack, which was weird because I don't really have them that much. I think it was because university was ending, a lot of last exams and finals, and that really got into my head. The minute I was done, I felt so much better. It was crazy how much better I felt. So after exams, and into the summer and to now, I think it's been the best I've ever felt. I wouldn't say right now I'm depressed. It's definitely gotten a lot better. Usually every, New Year, January, February, those months I'm severely depressed, just seasonal depression. But this year, I wasn't, which was really weird. Definitely a lot better, and I think over time I've just kind of had a better mindset about it. So I definitely learned how to manage it and had a better outlook on life, and that's definitely helped me today. Number one, you can't cure anxiety or depression. It's something you manage. It's not something that you can cure or will go away. Sometimes with people it does go away, but not everyone or everything will go away when you want it to. Number two is not everyone deals with things the same way as you do, which was a big thing for me to realize, because if I say I have anxiety and someone else says that they have anxiety, it's not the same thing. It's completely different, and you need to respect that and respect how other people may be feeling, and taking away that assumption that everyone's going to be feeling the same way that you do, it helps a lot. Next one is don't be hard on yourself. I am always hard on myself all the time for as long as I can remember. Another thing is that I deal with body dysmorphia, and essentially it's just not seeing yourself like everyone else sees you. You see yourself as, like, you know, for my example, I see myself as overweight or heavier than I'd like to be, and I see myself as more ugly and not attractive, but you know, other people will be like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not fat, you're not this and that. And it's like, I see this completely different part of myself. So it's hard to kind of maneuver through those feelings and thoughts, because I see one thing and, you know, everyone else sees something else. And that's, again, just changing your mindset and how you talk to yourself, and making sure that you're good to yourself. And daily affirmations are really great to consider, because it makes you take the time out of your day to just treat yourself well, even if it's for 10 minutes. It's just having those positive affirmations definitely helps a lot. It's okay to take a mental day off. So I find that if I do have a really hard day, or I'm mentally just not doing well, there's nothing wrong with calling into work or taking a day off school just to kind of get yourself together. I'm not saying you should go home and just, you know, take a nap and just shut off the world, but if you do need that time to kind of meditate, write down your feelings, or rest, definitely take advantage of that, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. Spend time alone, you learn a lot about yourself. It's always been difficult for me because I enjoy, obviously, you know, human interaction as anyone would. I would definitely be lonely a lot of the time, so I just kind of learned to deal with it and to enjoy that space by yourself. And I definitely like being alone now, and I'm very independent, and I'm thankful for that, because I know that I can handle myself. Read a book, draw, color, and allow yourself to have any thoughts run through your head, and not to to dwell on the negative, but to kind of just learn more about yourself. People show love in different ways. This was very difficult to learn, because I guess I used to be the type of person that if people do one thing and they don't do it the same way as me, I think, well, that's wrong. Like, you can't just expect people to act the same way that you do, and everyone's different in how they show their feelings. And I think accepting that definitely gives you a more positive attitude, and just accepts people for who they are, and not just assuming that people don't like you or don't appreciate you. Don't take things personally. This has always been hard. It's something I still learn, but people will often, take their anger out on you or project their feelings onto you because it's something that they're going through. So you shouldn't take it personal or think that's something that you do wrong. Those people have to kind of take responsibility for their own actions. You shouldn't let other people's opinions stop you from doing what you want, because at the end of the day, you have yourself. No one else's negative opinion or criticism should stop you from doing what you want to do. Fall in love with yourself. Accepting your flaws and being kind to yourself is just like the most life-changing thing ever. Doing things for yourself, like even just taking yourself out for a meal, kind of like a date, like dating yourself and treating yourself right as you would for someone else. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's definitely a big step. You can't be afraid, to talk to a doctor if you need to go see a therapist. Obviously, therapy doesn't work for everyone. But talking to a family member or a teacher or a colleague or a friend, it's just, there's nothing wrong with talking to someone, because having all those feelings built up isn't healthy for anyone. And not that you should put your things onto other people. Getting those thoughts out loud is definitely very helpful, and having that support from someone makes a huge difference. Be open with friends and family. It's kind of similar to the other one, just to ask for help, but being open to your family and friends about what you're going through makes you feel not as alone, and it's definitely beneficial just to kind of letting people know where you're at. My friends definitely helped me a lot, and it's nice for them, you know, to understand. And I get that not everyone's understanding, but to have your friends understand that you're having a tough time, like it's okay to do that. Tell people that you love them. You don't know how much time that we have, and you know, every day you should tell everyone that you love them, your friends, your family. Never take a day for granted, because you just never know. And I think that's just really important. The last thing is that you're not alone. I think this is important too, because most of the time when we're anxious or depressed, we feel like it's just us and that the world's kind of just like closing in on us, but there's so many people who have similar feelings, and you shouldn't be afraid to be open, because there's so many people going through the same thing. And it doesn't make you a bad person or different or anything like that. It's just part of your life, and it's something that you just have to accept.